I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your man TP. Today, we are on number 190 on our compilation list. We will be in two different judges' courtrooms, and we also have a very interesting testimony by a sovereign citizen who claims that he has found the key or that he has used some type of strategy that ended up working for him. And he's doing this to prove that the whole sovereign citizen script, ideology, whatever have you, that it works. Before I give you the two judges' courtrooms that we will be in on today, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Commentary will be left in from these previously being aired. Chapters will be added. And now let me give you the name of those judges. First, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Kevin Elsenheimer out of the state of Michigan. Second, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Adam Sabri, also out of the state of Michigan. And last but not least, we have the young man who we don't have his name, who has the testimony about his dealings when it comes to the Sovereign Citizen script. As always, guys, thank you for joining me here on Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead and jump into 190.
Settlement agreement that's been filed by the defendant, Ms. Jennifer Geiger. With us, we have, and I unfortunately cannot see people's names. It's too far away from me, but I do see that we have with us, let's see, we have the plaintiff, Kevin Geiger. You're with us, is that correct?
Yes. Can you hear me?
And I can hear you. And also Jennifer Geiger as well. Is that right?
Christine is here.
All right. I said, is it Jennifer Christine, but you go by Christine? Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you now. And also we have Ms. Jordan here as well. And are there any other parties that are present in this case? It doesn't appear so. Discuss where we go from here. Ms. Jordan, I'd like to hear from you as to today's motions. First, it looks like we have the property settlement enforcement issue that needs to be resolved before we do the pro count. Is that correct?
We're here on our motion to enter the judgment. I have Ms. Schmelzer. I'm appearing on behalf of Ms. Schmelzer. She has submitted a proposed judgment of divorce to the court. We ask that the court enter it. Whatever defendant has filed, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It doesn't specify what she's asking to enforce, but we are standing by our motion today. There's no reason why defendant, she has refused to sign the judgment, which comports and incorporates the property mediation agreement that was signed by both parties on May 7th, 2024 at mediation. She has indicated to us only that she does not agree with the judgment, but has not specified what she hasn't agreed to. As I said, the judgment incorporates the signed mediation agreement of the parties that is binding. There's really no reason for her to refuse signing the judgment. Seems that there's been a long pattern of her delaying proceedings throughout this matter. And we ask that the proceedings, that those delays cease at this time, and that the court enter this judgment, which again comports with the party settlement agreements that were placed on the record in open court. And the mediation agreement for the property is attached to this motion as well. Due to the delays and the unreasonable refusal to sign the judgment, we are also asking for an award of attorney fees to plaintiff for him having to file this motion and for the delay. Thank you.
I object. I sent documents regarding jurisdiction.
Hold on. So Ms. Geiger, this is how this works. I will call on you since you're representing yourself. We're going to talk in just a moment in order to speak, because we are actually making a word for word record. And I need to be careful of that record so that if there's any appeal or any review, that it's clear who is speaking and when. So hold tight. I'll get to you in just a moment. You did file first a document on November 13th that indicated that you called it a motion to enforce a property settlement, and you indicated that there was a new mortgage dated 11/15 of 24 that he was closing on, number one, meaning the defendant, and also that he failed to disclose Grand Traverse Band income, as well as a trailer that he owns. And so as a result of those matters, what is it that you are seeking? What are you asking me to do?
Second of all, the plaintiff has failed to provide me with the pistol that was awarded in mediation and signed upon. Second of all, the information in the plaintiff's divorce paperwork is incorrect. I do not reside in Grand Traverse County. I reside over 200 miles outside of Grand Traverse County. That needs to be corrected. And furthermore, I have never gone by Jennifer Geiger Roundtree. Roundtree was spelled incorrectly in her paperwork. And according to the Michigan law, the plaintiff nor no one else.
All right, you've listed off a few issues. And first, before I hear from you any further, I need to advise you that you're representing yourself now in this case. It is always smart. It's very smart to have an attorney represent you, particularly in a divorce action like this. As someone who knows the law, knows the rules of ethics, the rules of procedure, the rules of evidence. And the reason for that is because when you act as your own attorney, you're held to the same ethical obligations and the same level of knowledge that someone who's gone to school for 3 years to become an attorney has to have. So I'm advising you strongly to retain counsel with regard to this matter. Are you seeking to proceed now on your own? All right, that's not what I asked. Listen to my question. Are you ready to proceed then today, even though I've advised you that it makes good sense for you to have an attorney? Do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, I have, in the last 5 months, I have sent 5 notices to participants in this case, including yourself. Never at any time during this 5 months or those 5 notices have the matters in the notices been addressed. Therefore, I'm demanding that jurisdiction be put on the record, as well as oaths and surety bonds for all people present.
All right. So, ma'am, you're not answering my question. You're raising issues that, frankly, are a bit concerning but I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you proceeding today without an attorney?
Do I require due process under the law?
All right, you're
Do I
answering a
receive
question
due
with a question.
process under the legal?
All right, now let's get back to my question. It appears to me that you intend to proceed today without counsel. You aren't responding to my question. I hope that ceases now. I'm not trying to box you into something. I'm merely trying to get your divorce taken care of. So let's go ahead and see if we can proceed on it. Back to your motion that you filed to enforce the agreement that you had regarding property settlement. That property settlement is generally, and I assume this is the case, generally rolled into the judgment that Ms. Jordan is seeking to enter today. And once that is the case, you will have the ability to enforce if it is not complied with. You're seeking to enforce a property settlement prior to the entry of an order is not procedurally accurate. You do need to wait for the order to be entered to be able to enforce. Now, if there was something in that property settlement that required that, for example, the pistol be transferred by a certain date, well, that's certainly something that I would consider. But otherwise, you do need to wait for the order to be entered, and it's the order that is enforced, not the property settlement agreement. Do you understand that, Ms. Geiger?
No,
Okay, let me explain it to you again. The motion that you filed is called a motion to enforce a property settlement. Done, that is an agreement signed by the parties with regard to the disposition of their assets. And that's not an order of the court until it is rolled into or becomes part of a judgment of divorce. Now, the judgment of divorce is what has been moved to be entered today. And that's what Ms. Jordan has asked me to approve, the judgment of divorce in this case. Once that is done, if the terms of the property settlement are included and have not been complied with, then you would certainly have the ability to move to show cause why the plaintiff should not be held in contempt of court for not comporting with the terms of the judgment. Do you understand?
I do not, because you signed the property settlement back in May or June. All other matters within the property settlement were taken care of. Why wasn't that, and why isn't that being enforced? It should have already been taken care of. In fact, I received an email from Ms. Smeltzer with directions on what to do to take care of that item of the property settlement, which I did do, and Mr. Geiger failed to acknowledge any of it. He was given the permit in October, and he refuses to comply with it.
All right, let's go ahead and hear from Ms. Jordan then as to the matters in the motion to enforce the property settlement agreement.
Regarding the transfer of the guns within the judgment, it does say that everyone is to cooperate and sign paperwork to effectuate the transfer of the guns. That is something that is, part of their mediation agreement that was to be incorporated into the judgment, just as you have explained your understanding. That is my understanding as well.
Is there an order in place at this time regarding the matters set forth in the motion that's been filed by Ms. Geiger, Ms. Jordan?
An order, I'm sorry?
Is there an order with regard to the disposition of the marital property that the court has signed already?
The only person that has signed it in addition to Ms. Schmelzer and the parties was the mediator, Miss Linda Marsh Rates. But I do not see that was submitted and understand it was submitted to the court, but it was signed by the mediator on May 2nd at mediation. And that is attached as Exhibit B to our motion.
Thank you. That would be the normal process. Normally the mediator will sign and approve it as an exemplar of what it was that was agreed to by the parties. And then I sign it, Ms. Geiger, for your information, I sign it and it becomes an order, it becomes law between the parties once the court's signature is on it. I haven't signed it yet. And I haven't signed it yet because we're waiting for all of the remaining issues in the divorce to be taken care of. Now, so for those reasons, what I'm going to do is deny your motion as untimely. This is the motion to enforce, but I'm not making a judgment on the merits of it, meaning if after the judgment itself is signed, which I understand includes, after the judgment is signed, if your husband, ex-husband at that point, does not comply with it for whatever reason, then you are welcome to come back to court on an order to show cause, a request to show cause as to why you shouldn't be held in contempt for failure to comport with that order. Do you understand, ma'am? Ms. Geiger, do you understand? Mute?
No, I'm not on mute.
Okay. All right. So you're just choosing not to respond then?
What response is there?
Well, the response is that I've denied your motion that you brought in November, and I denied it as being untimely because there is no order in place that's being challenged, but I'm not denying it on the merits. That means you can bring the issues up again at some point after the judgment is entered and you believe that your husband is not in compliance with the order. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Let's go ahead and proceed then to the motion that's been filed by Ms. Jordan. That motion is a motion to enter the divorce judgment in this case. I've heard argument from Ms. Jordan regarding same. Ms. Geiger, do you have any argument that you wish to make with regard to the motion?
I'd like to know if the plaintiff's attorney and the parties of the court received the 5 notices that have come through since July regarding jurisdiction.
This is an issue that is not relevant to the question that I've asked you. What I've asked you is if you have any argument with regard to the motion that's been filed to enter the judgment. That's the matter that's before the court. Remember, I told you you are held to the same standards of ethics, procedures, evidence, etc., that any attorney is. You're choosing to represent yourself. So I need you to be responsive to the issues that I addressed to you. And that question is to you. Do you have any argument with regard to the motion that has been filed by?
I'm not trying to dishonor the court, Your Honor.
I didn't say you were. I'm simply asking whether or not you have an argument that you wish to make with regard to that motion.
I'm not here to argue, Your Honor. I want to settle the matter, but I would like the matter of your jurisdiction to be addressed. I am here by a special appearance to handle this matter. And I do require due process under the law. Do I receive due process under the legal? And is there a difference between lawful and legal?
Okay. What I will let you do is make a motion if you wish to regarding jurisdiction, because you're now raising a jurisdictional issue. Jurisdictional issues can be brought generally at the beginning of the case in the first responsive pleading.
I did that. I did that at the beginning of the case.
I'm sorry. Did I call on you? All right. Remember, I said we can't talk over each other. So you need to respect the court and allow me to say what I'm going to say for the record, and then I'll listen to what you have to say. Okay. So once again, you're raising a jurisdictional challenge. Jurisdictional challenges generally must be filed at the beginning of a case. Let me go ahead and look at the file and see whether you filed a jurisdictional challenge. Hold on. Okay, we're going to go off the record for just a moment, and the court's going to address another matter. That complaint does establish, admit to jurisdiction essentially, or a ver jurisdiction, pardon me, at paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 with regard to the actual marriage of the parties. So it does appear to me that the defendant has waived the issue of jurisdiction by virtue of the pleadings that she filed in this case. So as a result, I find that the issue of jurisdiction is untimely at this point. All right. Do you have any other issues with regard to the motion that you wish to argue, Ms. Geiger, at this time, other than jurisdiction?
Yes, I do.
Right. You're welcome to go ahead and make.
The United States has never held any municipal sovereignty, jurisdiction, or right of soil in Alabama or any other new states which were formed. The United States has no constitutional capacity to exercise municipal jurisdiction, sovereignty, or eminent domain within the limits of state or else.
Hold on. If you're reading something, you're speaking too quickly for us to get this into the record, and I would prefer that you summarize rather than read. We do have several other matters that are scheduled today. So normally a motion like this takes about 15 minutes. Now we're well in excess of that already. If you could please speed it up and summarize perhaps.
I'm sorry, I have challenged jurisdiction. Anything that was prior to July is irrelevant. That was taken care of by an attorney that was fired for not doing their job properly, which is what has took place in the early stages of this proceeding. What I was citing is Pollard versus Hagan, 44 USC 213-221-223. No shame.
going to have to adjourn this matter. I've got a full afternoon docket, 5 matters to go before 5 o'clock. Reset it as soon as I possibly can, but I'm not able to hear the remainder of the argument today or conduct.
Well,
any-
Your Honor, Your Honor, I really
So
hope
we'll
that.
reset it and we'll let you know as soon as we possibly can. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hello, this is Mr. Raleigh. I'm here on the matter. I couldn't
see
hear.
you. Mr. Riley, thank you for, that was gonna be my suggestion, to log out and log back in, but you did use the chat.
I am here on that matter, my honor. I am, for the record, on the record, and let the record show I am not a 13th Amendment free Negro slave, nor chattel, nor 14th Amendment United States corporate citizen. I am a national, I am a Moorish American, and I have standing ancestral estate, in Moroccan Empire, the adjoining islands by inheritance, but not by purchase. Moorish pedigree. I am competent. I am allodial, and I'm liberated. I am. All rights preserved and retained without prejudice or recourse. Certificate registration number AA 7786 March 25th, 1848 AD, corresponding to the Moorish calendar 1368. Copyright owner C.M. Bays. Clock of Destiny, March 25th, 48 AD, MC 1368. Certificate registration number AA 209316, March 31st, 1952, AD, MC 1327. Masonry plus art, astrology, history, and geography. Clock of Destiny 2, reused edition of the previous book of Clock of Destiny, Title 22, Chapter 2, Consul Courts General Information. Certificate registration number AA 222141, September 8th, 1952, AD, MC 1372, Clock of Destiny, Moorish American, all Moroccan nationality card or identification with Zodiac Constitution, and certificate AA 222141 is the focus of the determination for the without a doubt affirming relationship of the relationship properly venue as law between the Moorish Franks and all foreign Christian nations. Title 8, United States Code 1324, federally protected Moors.
What did you say about the Christian nations? What you just said about, this only applies to the Christian nations?
It says other foreign Christian nations.
Other foreign Christian nation. What is a Christian nation?
What is a Christian nation? Well, that I would not know because I am a Moorish American. I'm more into being related to Moorish American ideology.
I was just trying to figure out, I was just listening. I'm listening in. All right. Okay. Well, I have you checked in, Mr. Riley,
Okay.
and, Ms. Haddad, are you requesting legal counsel?
No.
Okay. Ms. Haddad will be with you shortly. She has the rest of the cases on the docket, so when she's done, looks like she's in the breakout room with Terry Yancey. When she's done with Terry Yancey, she'll have the opportunity to talk to you. And then I can call your case eventually.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so just sit tight and we'll get to you shortly. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
Mr. Raley, can you join the breakout room? I have sent you an invitation.
Breakout room.
I'll send you another invite. Give me 1 sec. Do you see the invite, Mr. Raley? We are ready on the case ending in 509, Your Honor.
Five zero nine.
Yes, Judge.
Calling case number 2334550. This is Harriet Tubman Apartments versus Brian Riley and all occupants.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Rania Haddad, P84927 on behalf of the plaintiff.
And Mr. Riley, can you please just state your name? Let's see, I'm gonna prompt you to.
A minute. Okay. For the record, my name is Brian D. Raleigh.
All
Hello?
right. Yes, yes, sir. Thank you. All right, were parties able to work out some type of resolution?
Yes, Your Honor. The parties have agreed to enter into a conditional dismissal with box 4B checked. Mr. Raley's balance due and owing is $2,088.46. He will pay he's going to pay $742 on the 5th of every month, beginning on 5/5. That $742 includes his $542 of monthly rent per month, and then an additional $200 towards the balance. So he will pay on the 5th of every month, starting on May 5th, 2023, $742 until the balance reaches zero. And then after the balance is zero, he will resume his regular monthly rent.
And the regular monthly rent is $542, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So $200 extra. Is it 2088.44?
It is 2088.46.
0.46. Okay. All right. And is 4B checked?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Riley, do you understand the terms of this agreement?
Yes, I do.
All right. If you make those payments, your matter will be dismissed. In the event you don't, a judgment and a writ of eviction can be filed at the same time. We wouldn't have to come back to court. So good luck. Wish you well. Have a great day. Do you have any questions?
No, my honor.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You are welcome. Take care, Mr. Riley.
All right. You too.
All right. Thank
Mm. Oh, one answer. What the?
Well, guys, we've come to the end of this proceeding, and Mr. Riley definitely struggled to read those passages from the book that he kept quoting. He struggled to read some of the script that he also had, and it just wasn't a very good look. I mean, if you're going to come, to a Zoom court meeting, planning on, arguing your case through reading some type of book passages or script, you want to make sure you can at least read at an effective level, because you're already you're already pretty much fighting against yourself when you do that, right? You're already starting off on the wrong foot, and we saw that with Mr. Riley. But he came to his senses. I don't know if it's because of that, or he just said, listen, let me be accountable for what I owe. But as of right now, he owes a little over $2,000. The attorney said that he plans on paying $200 more than what his rent normally is to pay off that debt. So let's hope, that he does that and, just get this situation behind him. Because if he don't, then either he's going to find himself in more trouble and in another courtroom struggling to read a script, or possibly out on the street. But with that being said, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe. It is tremendously helping out the channel. Thank you guys for joining me once again. Thank you guys once again for supporting Buy Me a Coffee, which helps out the channel. It's truly been a blessing. With that being said, this is Sovereign Citizens Court, guys. And for now, Sovereign Citizens Court is adjourned. I appreciate you guys. See you guys soon. God bless.
Yo, family, how y'all doing? What's going on? So I want to tell you guys something that happened to me recently, right? So we're going to be talking about my right to travel experience, failed and succeed, right? And I'm going to tell you the reason why I failed, right? So let me explain how it went, right? So, many people know me, right? I do right to travel and everything like that. I got the passport. I'm going to do not detain, right? And so I ended up getting a car right from the dealership, and the car register and everything like that. But I got this for my wife, right? So me personally, I don't drive it, right? So it was one night, I was wanting to go to the store. I was in a rush, and I'm like, man, you know what? I don't feel like taking the car out the garage and doing all this stuff, right? So I just end up hopping in her car, right? And I start driving, right? So I'm traveling down, I think we in Texas. We stay in Texas. So we traveling down the road. So I end up speeding a little bit, right? So the police put on his sirens and his flashes and everything like that, and he pulled us over, right? So once he pulled us over, he asked me for license registration, right? Now, let me explain this though, right? The car is registered, so it's no ifs, ands, or buts that is jurisdiction, right? Like you literally driving around with jurisdiction, right? So the officer came to the car. He license registration. I ended up giving him my passport card, international driver's license, right? He asked for insurance. I got insurance on the vehicle, so I showed him the insurance card, right? So everything checked out besides the international driver's license. He said, hey, where you from? I said, man, I live in American Samoa, right? So I'm throwing them off and everything like that, because it's only so much I really can say I'm traveling with a registered vehicle. And so what he did was he said, yeah, man, how long you been in Texas? I said, a few months. He said, yeah, so you pretty much established residency, because if you've been in the state for a certain period of time, they want you to have a license. And I said, what I told him, I said, well, I come back and forth to Texas. I don't live out here permanently, right? And so he asked me for an address that's here in the state, right? So I gave him an address. I'm like, we own one of the properties over here. So I'm like, I don't live here, right? So he said, okay, I just need you to sign the citation. So after he made me sign the citation, right, I wrote UCC. He said, no, man, you can't write UCC on this. He said, you gotta write your normal signature. So me personally, I didn't want to waste time, right? Because I knew I messed up. And the reason why I knew I messed up was I wasn't supposed to travel in no registered car. But I'm going to let you guys know the outcome of this whole situation. So after I ended up signing the ticket and everything like that, he told me to park on the side. So, of course, I waited till, he left and everything. My wife came, we left from the scene, right? So nothing happened with that situation, right? And I'm gonna tell you why this is a success. If many of y'all don't know it, I got pulled over a few months ago in Texas for driving no plates, no registration, no insurance, no nothing, right? And so the officer issued me a citation, told me to come to court. The court date I never showed up to. I never showed up to the first court date, the second court date, or third court date. Now imagine, I'm still in Texas, right? So when the police ran my name again when he pulled me over, right? When a different police officer ran my name, no ticket, no warrants, nothing popped up. Because remember, I don't have any contracts in the state of Texas. So when he was going through his computer, he couldn't find anything on me. He said, "Man, it says you born in Illinois. I'm not seeing nothing." So even my Illinois contracts he don't see. So no contracts was still there. So that is good because I have no contracts with the state. So no warrants was ever issued out under a driver's license. I never had one. Because even the car registration, you can't issue a warrant out on car registration. You only can issue a warrant out on the driver's license or state ID. That's why I always tell you guys never to get in contracts with the state. Because the moment you get in contracts with the state, you waive all your rights. So for the most part, I'll say this is a success because I finally get to know something. I don't care about the citation. We get 100 citations. I got 50 citations and I never showed up to court. And even in Chicago, right? So when I went to Chicago, I got pulled over and stopped. They told me to come to court. I never showed up to court. I got pulled over again for a whole different situation. And that warrant from that court date never showed up. So that's the good thing about traveling, right? Because you don't got to worry about, like traveling with no contracts. So whether you get a citation or not, with no contracts with the state, they can't issue a warrant. So that's my testimony. So that's me telling y'all, yes, them citations don't mean nothing. When I ripped that ticket up and said I ain't going to court, nothing happened. So I got pulled over by the police again. Nothing happened. Not a bench warrant, not nothing. And I searched up on the court docket. Guess what happened to those tickets? They sent it to collections. They send the tickets to collections because they got nothing to collect on. And on top of that, they got no warrant they can issue. So, I would like to say right to travel succeed once again. Once again, right to travel succeed. Don't matter if you get them citations. Rip up. If you never had contracts in the state, rip them up. I never had contracts in the state of Texas. I'm not worried about Texas. I never had contracts. I'm ripping them up every time I get a ticket. Listen, and that showed me something else, right? While we want to argue on the side of the road, we can get a police officer's a signature and they'll give us a ticket. You still ain't got to show up. You don't have contracts. So whether you sign a ticket or not, you don't have to show up to court. Whether you give them an address or not, you don't have to go show up to court. You don't have any contracts with the state. So that's what I learned. And that's what I learned in this whole situation. So I'm happy I got pulled over. I'm happy I got cited because now I know that no warrants is linking up to anything. I got over 3 to 4 citations that was issued to me, and not one of them got a warrant on it. Not one. Matter of fact, let me take that back. I got 4 tickets because I got I got another ticket in Florida. It's the same thing. I never show up to court. I never show up to court. That's why I tell a lot of people. They be like, "Man, bro, I got this court case, man. I was caught driving without a license. What should I say? What should I do?" And I say, "Why are you showing up to court? Why are you not at the DMV canceling out that driver's license to take away that presumption that you're a resident and also take away the court ability to issue a warrant on the driver's license through the Secretary of State?" Y'all can't be that crazy, right? So you got to understand that canceling contracts does have power. And like I tell a lot of people, you want to cancel your contracts. You want to make sure you got the state jurisdiction. And that was a good time. This is a very, very good lesson. And for all my nationals out there, I want you guys to know, this stuff is real. So whether you get a citation or not, whether you get a citation, it's a win. Whether you don't get a citation, it's a win. So that same citation I got just a couple of days ago where I ripped it up, the same thing I didn't rip it up, I balled it up. My citation before that, I ripped it up. So regardless or not, I never show up to court, I never pay the ticket, nothing happens. I'm out. Peace and love.
I'm not threatening you. Say one more word and that's 30 days. 30 days.